Hey everybody. I really messed up the start of this stream. I thought I had it going live and realized I had an error on YouTube with a duplicate ID and it never actually went live. So, anyway, hey everybody, here I am, Eric's Edge. Um, haven't done a lot of streaming lately, so, kind of need to get back into it and get busy and, stop worrying about the beard because the beard's doing fine. Anyway, so uh, yeah. So let me switch. I really threw my groove off here. Let me switch over to the browser so I can tell you what we're doing. So, One Bit Fever Dreams had this challenge. He started. This is the second one. He had a previous one, but for this one, I decided to try it out, even though I am the world's worst gamer. There's not a snowball chance in hell that I'm going to beat anyone at this. Um, but anyway, I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm more of a walking kind of scenario streamer, like immersive things like Skyrim or the Long Dark, that kind of a thing. I'm not very good at arcade style games or any of that stuff. Never have been, even when the only thing that was available was pinball. I was never very good at that kind of thing. So probably has something to do with my slow neural system and reaction time. Anyway, One Bit Fever Dreams did this challenge. So there's three games: Mouse Stampede, Crystal Quest, and Crab Attack. Ron from Ron's Computer Videos has done this challenge, and of course he does a pretty good job at it. But so I can set the bar really low so that if anybody wants to play, they can and beat me. So this is Mouse Stampede. You have your mouse and you shoot at the mice and various creatures and try to keep from dying. Second game is called Crystal Quest. I think this was a more popular game. I never had a Macintosh, when I was young. Yeah, of course, growing up was pre-Apple computer anything, so that just wasn't an option for me. But anyway, but this was a popular game, I believe. And then the last one is Crab Attack 2. So I have no idea what Crab Attack 1 was like, but there you are. So let's get back to the game system. I believe that I actually crashed my computer. Let me see if I can. Yep, it froze when I tried to play Crab Attack. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I don't have the emulator set up, which, by the way, One Bit Fever Dreams set up an emulator and everything with the games, so you don't have to have a classic Mac to run it on. I think I'm running too new of a OS, or too advanced of an OS for Crab Attack to work properly. So I'm just going to try Mouse Stampede and Crystal Quest because I know they work. So I gotta wait for the machine to boot up. Here we go. And of course, it's probably going to complain about the fact that it was not started up properly or shut down properly last time. And so I'm playing on a Quadra 610, and I think this is OS 7.6.1, which I believe. Let me set up. Get out of studio mode here so I can see the screen better. Let's go to the about this Macintosh. Yeah, 7.6.1. I believe you need to run an earlier version. I think there's some notes in it about it. If you go to, the link is in the description, but if you go to Tinker Different, that's where when Bit Fever Dreams has his post about it. So anyway, let's go ahead and do Mouse Stampede, and you can watch someone really stink at a game. A herd of walruses. Interesting. Nobody reads the instructions. I get this weird sound coming from this. I'm not sure what that is. One player, start. Okay, so the object here is to not get hit by the bat, to kill all the mice, and of course the bat got me. I'll be lucky if I break 10,000. Don't get stomped by the shoe. I just got stomped by the shoe. I think you're supposed to oh, jeez, that was the shortest game ever. So... yeah, you can see my prior best score doing this. So, that was pretty bad. So if you hit the cats at the right time, I think they help wipe out the mice. Hey, I actually got through that one. And there's the shoe. Stay away from the shoe. And shopping carts fall and drop cheese. So you want to... Ah! Bat. You don't want to get hit by a shopping cart. Hey, I got the shoe. I think the turtle does something to the mice. I'm not sure. Ah! Oh, come on. Ah! Not a stellar performance. You know, there's so much going on the screen. It's really difficult for me to what's this other thing coming at me? Some kind of flying thing. Dragonfly? I don't know. Whatever it is, it got me. Flying frog? There's also a knife that goes after you. Right into the shoe. Okay, well, it's an improvement, kind of. So, Why did I kill the cat right away? Anyway, I was playing with a different mouse, and I realized that mouse has a problem when you try to pick it up, or rather pull it down. It was the roller ball wasn't working right, so I had to switch mice. For normal computer stuff, it didn't really matter that the mouse was skipping occasionally. Really? I can't hit that to save my life. Well, there we go. Ah! Oh. Okay. Okay. World's worst scores. I did better earlier. So, okay, enough of that game. Let's do Crystal Quest. I have to admit, I dislike this game even more. Because of the physics in here of you sliding around on Teflon. It makes it's very sensitive to mouse movement. And It's not the kind of game I'm very good at. Ah. Oh, no. Hey, I made it. That's better than I've been doing. So, I really do not like this game. Maybe I should stick to RPGs. Ah. See, I'm so focused on getting these stupid crystals, I'm not paying attention to being trapped. Okay, now trying to avoid these things and slide. Ah! There you go. This is why I stink. Okay. Start game. Jeez, why does it start out with momentum? Shouldn't it be like still at the beginning of the game? Why is it doing motion? Why is it that the missiles go faster if you're moving faster? Just to make it hard. Oh, okay. Yeah, no bonus on time. Yeah, I am not gonna beat the clock on any of this stuff. See, I'd rather play a stealthy game where, you know, if you sneak up on things, they don't know you're there. This is not a sneak up on things game, obviously. Oh, I got a cherry. Hopefully that was good. I don't like this. They're shooting back at me. Is that a mine? Ah! Why can't you have shields? I bet you if I read the rules, I'd find out you have shields or something. Okay. Mouse start game. I'm probably not using all of the features of the game. Ah! Old man yells at cloud. Old man yells at game. Sorry, I'm not watching the chat. Let me get out of here. Alright. Oh. I forgot that it starts off. Die! Die! Oh, yeah, I didn't mean me. I meant you. Those things. I wanted them to die, not me. Okay, enough of that too. Alright, like I said, this was going to be the shortest thing ever. What have I been streaming for, like 5 minutes and I'm already finished? So, how do we get... Oh yeah, Command Q quits that game. Alright, I'm not going to try Crab Attack because when I tried it before, it just froze the machine. So, who do we get in the chat? Retro Techie. Yes, Retro Techie, you should play these games. I'm sure you would be great at them. And Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. What about a Mario-style platformer? I am better at that than I am at these kind of games, but I'm not very good, honestly. I had an NES. Let's see. Well, it was shortly after they came out. My wife and I bought it. We never bought any cartridges. We might have rented a few from, you know, Blockbuster or something. And I don't think I ever finished Mario. I wasn't too bad at duck hunt, but you know, it just wasn't something I was into at the time. So I ended up giving it to my nieces, and I should have kept it because they basically destroyed the thing. It only lasted maybe 6 months before they had managed to break it. But you know, hey, they were kids, so. Um, you know, my games are more like I like Skyrim. Um, I wasn't great at it, but I did enjoy Galaga. That was probably one of the pinball, or excuse me, one of the games in the arcade that I actually played. You know, while I was in college, uh, I played the first game that ever showed up in the town I grew up in was Space Invaders, and I used to skip school, go to the pool hall where they had it, and play that. Um, didn't have a lot of money when I was, you know, young, so I didn't play it very much. It was only 25 cents a game, believe it or not, back then. So I'd probably put, you know, a couple of dollars into it. I think I was getting a $5 a week allowance at the time or something. So, and that, and I think I could either brown bag my lunch so I could keep the $5, or I could spend it on hot lunch at school, or um, I think they had an ice cream. Yeah, they had an ice cream parlor, so sometimes I'd buy ice cream, things like that. So, anyways, money would burn a hole in my pocket, and so I never had much to play video games. Um, so that's it. I do have some other games on here. Like I said, if I try Crab Attack, I think it's just going to blow the system up. Oops. I am wrong mouse. Alright. What else have I got on here? I've tried to play Prince of Persia. Another game that I suck at. Timed games are not my thing. Um, Oregon Trail's more my speed. So, first person shooters like Marathon. If I'm playing, you know, with other people on a LAN gaming situation, I usually come in the bottom of it because I get very disoriented pretty quickly playing a game like that. So I will play first person shooters if they involve a lot of planning, or you know, like stealthily sneaking up on somebody or something like that. That's more my style. This is everybody on Discord, probably, I imagine. Let's see what's going on Discord. You mean like on Discord right now, or just on Discord in general? So a lot of people are on Discord. It's more of a messaging system. It's not really a social media vehicle. So, hey, 1-bit. So I didn't last very long. And I can't play the Crab Attack. Apparently it doesn't work on 7.6.1. So, I'm not going to try it. I guess I could fire up an emulator and do it there, but, you know, I'd have to go to the trouble of setting it up, so I'm not going to. And it's not going to matter anyway. There's no way I'm going to beat anyone at these scores. If you're going to have a, not even a most improved, if you're going to have a prize for last place, I'm your person. So, maybe I'll play Mouse Stampede again just for fun. It's not a terrible game. So, I don't know why that weird noise is there. I'm better at this game than I am the crystal thing. That was very painful. Yeah, see, I'm not even very good at this one. Yep, stay away from the shoe. I always die around the shoe. And the bat always gets me. Hey, I got the shoe that time. It's better than normal. Hey, look! I actually made it to the shopping carts. Stay away from the shopping carts. And the bat got me again. So you can see from these scores, one bit, I'm not going to be beating anybody. Oh, yeah. You can't run on System 7 Plus. Yep, it did freeze. So that makes sense. Oh well, that's okay. So I guess out of these, Mouse Stampede is the one I'm better at, which means that I just suck worse at the other ones. Um, but whatever. That's it. I really don't have anything else to stream tonight, unless you guys want to ask me questions about stuff. Um, what have I got going on? So I took apart. Oh, no pressure about the scores. My hidden goal is just to make people experience these games. Hey, I never had an opportunity to play these games. When I was young, and probably would have been. Oh yeah, I've tried Flappy Mac. I'm very bad at Flappy Mac. So why not? Let's play Flappy Mac. I grew up, I was young and grew up before video games of any kind came out. So Space Invaders showed up in my town when I was a senior in high school. So I just didn't have any exposure to video games until later. Played a little bit at arcades when I was in college, but not very much. Mostly I just couldn't afford to do it. And then, I bought an NES when it came out, but I never really got into it that much because I was married and working, so I didn't have a lot of time to get into gaming. Anyway, so that, it's not something I'm very good at. Most of the games that I play tend to be simulations or, like things like walking games like Skyrim or The Long Dark, games like that. So, yeah, Flappy Mac is, I've got the source code. I bought the disc, so that I could get the source code from Gruz. And it was mostly so that I could see how he used a certain library that's, was commonly used for game development. And I was really impressed that somebody was, firing up an old development environment like that. And I wanted to see the game and the code for it. And so I got the disk and everything, and I got the environment set up so I could compile it. And I noticed that one of his game files was actually, source files was actually missing from what he put on the disc. So I contacted him. He's like, "Oh yeah, no problem," and he sent it to me. He said I was the only one who had ever asked, so nobody else was probably looking at the code. But and I never got around to doing anything with the code. But yeah, exploration games like the ICOM series, Shadowgate, David. Yeah, I should try those. I'm not real big on puzzle games like Myst. I just get too frustrated with them. If your math is correct, you are younger than both of my parents. Probably. I'll be 60 this year. And I got married when I was 22 years old. So it's been, 38 years? So if you're around that age, then I'm old enough to be your father, Jeremy. Oh, I quit. I didn't want to quit. So let's try. You can watch me click to flap. See? There's just enough of um, skill involved here with the timing for the bounces you get from flapping to just really be difficult for me. What I should do is compile the code to make it so that your flaps don't make you bounce as much. It's not really a puzzle like Myst, but you have to figure stuff out as part of the theme they're using. For example, Deja Vu has you figure out your past since you're... Ooh, wow. That might be challenging. Your mom is 63. Yeah, so... Yeah, I'm about your parents' age. Okay. So I'm not quite that age. See what I mean? I think the best I've done is like gotten past 5 or 6 pillars. Oh, I always misjudge how much flap. I wish you had to flap more, like a hummingbird or something. This is really painful to watch. There's a video I did of me trying to play Prince of Persia, and it's nothing but a few minutes of me dying over and over and over again. I could do the same thing here. Oh, Jesus, really? I wouldn't blame you guys if you just said, this is too painful to watch. Yeah, I'm done. But I think it's really neat what he did here. Anyway. Yeah, the space bar. I don't know if it'd be any better, honestly. I think what I should do is try to compile the source and then maybe compress the amount of flap so that you have to go, to flap. Flappy Prince of Mass. Yeah. Anyway. Games like, let's see, I enjoyed Angry Birds. I know it's a very simple game, but I like physics games. If I had been, if I weren't so old, and what was that game? There was like a Rube Goldberg kind of thing, physics game where you had to, the Incredible Machine or something like that, where you had to piece together stuff. I think I got that for my youngest, so that they would be able to do it, and played with them with it. And there was another game, I think it was like a free-to-play Flash game that was somebody sledding. So you could play in that world. What else? There was another physics game. I guess I probably would have been interested in my what's the one where you're Minecraft, because you can build things in it and stuff like that. That probably would have been more my speed. I don't know. I'm just not much of a gamer. So everybody can play Oregon Trail. Civilization is kind of boring to me, so I never really got into that. The click and find games like Monkey Island and Pajama Sam and all those were really my eldest daughter's era that she's into. So anyway, enough about the games. So a couple of things I've done recently. Let me switch screens. Grab the right mouse. Okay. So this is a PC joystick that I modified following some information that Javier gave me, so that this works with an Apple II. So I have that, and I did that recently. So I could play games on an Apple II that I'm terrible at. What else have I got going on? Oh, I have a iMac G4, one of the lampshade kind of shaped Macs. You know, I guess everybody calls it a lampshade. That I got for $20, and I cleaned it up because it was filthier than all get out. Unfortunately, the power supply failed in it, so I ordered caps. This is the first time I've tried to figure out which caps to get to replace it, to recap it. Garth Beagle helped me out with that, so hopefully, his was revived by recapping the power supply, so I'm going to try that and see if that works. Physics games, also City Skylines. Yeah. Warcraft. I had a lot of fun playing Tides of Darkness in the old Warcraft games. So it's more of a building game, right? So that was I spent a lot of time playing that. What else I got going on? Oh, I bought a G4 Cube. I managed to get it for $30, and it looks like it's probably going to work. It's pretty clean. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a power supply. I've found out since that those are kind of unobtainium or cost an arm and a leg. Fortunately, there was a gentleman who had a video where he bought a $20 28 volt 7.1 amp 200 watt power supply from AliExpress, and then wired it up, because I guess that's all you need is 28 volts. So I'm gonna probably in another week or so I'm gonna buy that, and the power connector happens to be a standard one that you can get. It's 4 prongs. It's not just a barrel connector, but it's not some weird one that you can't source. So I'm going to probably see if I can't resurrect that machine. That's about it right now. Working on the next HyperCard authoring and programming episode. The episodes for that tend to be really long and very academic, and I'm trying to come up with some shorts, not short 30 seconds or 60 seconds, but 10 or 15 minute shorts that take something from the course and just, hey, let's play around with it and see what we can build, kind of a thing. So I'm working on that. That'll be more interesting. Yeah, Tides of Darkness too. That I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. I also played Red Red Alert. A little bit, not a lot. It came out about the same time, maybe a year or two later. So that was fun too. Jeremy installed an older compact motherboard in a slightly newer compact case last night. Hey, how did that work out? Good idea to vary links. Yeah, because those HyperCard things are like, if you want something like a nice long golf game or baseball on the TV in the background so that you can take a nap, my streams on HyperCard are like that. So they're very good for napping. I'm really just trying to do a very thorough survey through all of HyperCard. So it's more like reference material than it is anything else. But I wanted to do it just because, I used HyperCard some when it came out, but I was in the middle of college and didn't have a lot of time to spend on it, so I didn't do that much. I used it to demonstrate a concept for a visual programming environment where you would kind of like LabVIEW, where you'd wire blocks together to perform functions and stuff, so you could do visual programming. And I used it to prototype that. But I didn't really get into that much development with it. So I wanted to get back into that and get a lot better at it. And instead of just going through the material myself, I thought, well, in Marchintosh last year, I said I could do a series of videos. Should take me about a year. Right. It's going to take me 10 years to go through all the material at the rate I'm going. So that's why I need to intersperse some of those shorter videos to make it more interesting to people. I did one where I did Neko. It's the cat little toy thing. There's implementations for Unix, for browsers. The Palm Pilot had one on it where it would chase your mouse around and it would wake up or fall asleep and things like that. I started building a HyperCard stack to do that because it's got animation. It detects the movement of your mouse. There's various things in it, and it shouldn't be a very difficult thing to do. And I've got it mostly working, but I haven't picked it up in 8 months, and I really should do a good video on that. Catching up here. So who do we got in the chat? So Retro Techie was first, and then shortly after Jeremy showed up. Excuse me. 1-Bit Fever Dreams. Everything is Broken. Garage. And who else do we have? That actually is that. Oh, Dana. Hi, Dana. So it threw me off when I saw that G3 cube picture you've got. They never did create a G3 cube, did they? Yeah, that is one of your creations from your universe, correct? Because that would be cool. Looked like it was frosted glass instead of plastic. So we've got Dana, Retro Techie or Die. And that looks like that covers everybody. So thanks for showing up. I'm sorry if it's the gaming didn't last long, as you can imagine. So yeah, if from what I understand, if Jeremy needs to clear out some of his collection. So if you're looking for something, reach out to him. He might have it available. So I'm looking at the stack of stuff I've got sitting here that I need to go through. I'm hoping, one of the machines I'm holding is for Jeremy. If we can hook up at VCF Midwest, then, he said he would like to have it, and I'm holding it for him in case he does. But there's some other stuff I'm probably going to get rid of. No G3 Cube, alas. Well, we can live vicariously through your art. It would have been nice. And I liked how you did kind of a frosted glass version. That's kind of neat. It would be interesting. I don't think anyone should deface, a G4 cube by doing this, but that frosted kind of translucent plastic is kind of neat. Maybe if somebody had one that was, scratched up too much to be able to restore it, they could do that kind of like sandblasted or something to have that kind of effect. Would be neat. The one I've got, it's not in bad shape. Let me see if I can grab it here. Oh. So I've had it apart. Move the keyboard. In fact, it's kind of disassembled. Ziploc bag. You don't want to lose your screws. But it's pretty clean. It didn't have mice or anything living in it. It looks like it's a little difficult for mice to get into these, but it's got a, Dave from Dave's Vintage Apples. I forget. He said that the ATI card in it was actually pretty good. It's got a fan. I guess a lot of them didn't have fans, so it's an upgrade or something. It's only got one stick of RAM in it, so I'll have to get some more RAM. And of course, it's got a spinning drive, so I'll probably replace that with an IDE to SSD solution. Of course, I took the battery out because we all need to learn to battery. What else about it? Anyway, otherwise it looks like it's in decent shape. Which way does this go? It goes the other way. Oh, before I put it back in there. So, get this out. This is actually, it looked a bit like a barn find. I bought it from a recycler. So it probably was just sitting in a bin or something like that, and he rescued it out of it. But the plexiglass, other than having a couple of scrapes on it and stuff, it's got one. Let's see if I can find it. It's got a couple of scratches that I'm going to have to use right here. Probably wouldn't be able to see it on the camera. It's got a couple of scratches that I'm going to have to get rid of. But for the most part, it's in pretty good shape. I've got some plastic polish that I can use. Okay, this goes this way. To clean it up. Okay, drive has to go that way. So I should be able to buff it up. But that is such a cool mechanism. I know it probably overheats, and I think Dave said that there was a fan that you could get that was made for it to go on there, so I'll probably do that. Oof. But I just love this form factor. It's really cool looking. Someone posted a frosted one in real life a few days after that too. Yeah. It sounds like it would be an awesome solution to having one that's scratched up. You just, frost it so that it covers up the scratches. Anyway, so that's one of the projects. I got lucky. The guy wanted $30 for this. He also had some. What I was really interested in was the SE30s that he had, but they looked like literal barn finds, and the outside front case was just, one of them had a big gash across the front of it. He wasn't willing to open them up and take a look or take any pictures of what was inside. He was just like, $100, and he was able to sell them. So I can't really blame him. But I did tell him that he could get a better price by looking at the board and posting a picture of it if it's not battery bombed. But that wasn't enough to convince him. I even offered to say, hey, I'll take a look at them so that you can see, whether they have a higher value or not. But Anyway, he sold them for the $100, I guess. He did give me his business card and said that he occasionally comes across vintage Mac stuff and he would contact me if he found any. So the Quicksilver is also a beautiful machine. Not familiar with that one. So it's a G4 frosted with a blue Apple logo like the G3s. Cool. You want one of each CPU Mac. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of torn between I'd kind of like to collect them, but I also only pick up machines because I'm going to use them. Um, and I don't want to just collect for the sake of collecting. Mostly because I just don't have the space for it. Um, I do enjoy fixing them when I'm not killing them. Um, because I am learning how to do repair. Um, so that's interesting and fun, but I'm not going to keep everything. So, Quicksilver G4 is what Garth Beagle sent to me. Okay. That sounds really interesting. So, oh. Yeah, I'm looking at that blueberry cube. That is nice. Let me share the screen with everybody. Hang on. So here's the... I really like that. Nice frosted tint to it. Yeah. I could imagine Apple releasing something like that. So here's a close-up of the blue, and you can see the the frost around it. That's really cool. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I am caught up on the chat. Yeah, there's people that absolutely do not want to see, Macs used for, except to restore them. But sometimes you can't restore something, and the only real way to do it is to be inspired to do something like that. And that, to me, looks like something that could have been. Jeremy, you wouldn't mind getting a mirror drive door logic board to see if one of these dead Dell PCs I have can be made to house it. Yeah. I'm slightly interested in maybe getting a 486 motherboard and tower case and stuff, because that was my go-to machine for doing web development and stuff when the web first came out. Well, when people started really the dot-com boom took off, put it that way. Yeah, I worked for a small consulting company, and had to me and one other guy were tasked with figuring out the web and figuring out how we could make money off of building websites and stuff. So I mean, this is at the time when people were doing the under construction guy with the the shovel. So early days. So I still have the source code for it too. It's too old to actually use, but I don't know if anybody has done web development. There was a Java-based thing called what was it, JSP, Java tags, where I never worked in Java, but there were like tag HTML extensions. So it was still XML compatible, but it was so you could do templating and build in, you know, like a for loop or something like that into your HTML template that would go out and get data, put it in a grid, you know, things like that. So these were JSP tags that you would put into your code. I did something similar using PHP, and this was back before 3.0 was out, so it was like um, version 2 something, and I didn't know about the JSP stuff, wasn't even aware of it, so I kind of reinvented the wheel, and I presented it to a PHP users group it was in Ann Arbor, and you know, that company actually wanted to hire me because of the work I was doing, and we negotiated, but they couldn't offer a high enough rate for me, so I didn't do it. But I let them use the library and the code, and they actually took some of the ideas from it and used it. It wasn't very efficient. It was more of a proof of concept, so I think they ran with it and cleaned it up. But what I did was I used a series of regular expressions to parse in a recursive descent parser to strip out the custom tags to implement, you know, extensions to PHP. So it was a lot of fun. You know, it's not the kind of thing anybody does anymore. But, you know, at the time, it was, I guess, cutting edge. I haven't done web development in a long time, so I'm definitely not up to date. The last time I tried to do any, Angular had just come out, and I was thinking about getting involved in doing web development again. And I just decided that I wasn't going to do that. So I went into management because, frankly, I was tired of writing code. But anyway, old stories, old war stories. Someday I'll tell you guys about the DLL wars in Visual Basic back in the day. So we called it DLL hell. Windows 95 and Windows 98. Very painful to write and release applications in VB and have them work. Yeah, that was one of the I tried to go into mobile development too, and trying to find a framework that lasted long enough that you could get good at it and didn't disappear, or morphed into something constantly so that you could never keep up with it. Because, you know, I had a family and I had a job. I couldn't dedicate 20 hours a day to, you know, or even 10 hours a day to learning stuff like that. And there was a flood at the time of mobile framework platforms for HTML5 and, you know, all that kind of stuff going on. You just couldn't keep up with it. And even if you did invest the time in one of them, it'd be gone in 6 months. Nobody was supporting it or working on it anymore. So that was another thing where I said, you know, maybe I'm too old to be doing this kind of stuff. And I'm glad I switched to management. People and dealing with people is a totally different problem set than dealing with a customer and gathering requirements and all that. You know, which is the closest thing to dealing with people if you're in a development, you know, situation. You know, working for small consulting companies, you have to wear multiple hats. You can't just hide behind the development thing and let somebody else handle the front end. The front end isn't just about UX and UI. It's about talking to the customer and understanding their needs and coming up with the requirements and the design for all that. And if you're working for a consulting company, you're trying to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible so that you're not wasting their money, because they won't spend a lot of money on it. Um, and yeah, Dana, people are more fun, but when you get into management, there is that divide that kind of develops between people that are in management and people that are not in management. And I try very hard to deal with everybody the way I want it to be, um, you know, dealt with from a management perspective. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job at it. At least people have told me I am. Um, because I don't want to be that jerk that I worked for. And believe me, I worked for a couple of really good ones, big jerks. I also worked for some really great people and learned a lot. But I don't want to be that guy. That manager that's like worried about uh, insignificant things that have nothing to do with your performance and getting the job done. You know, um, I just don't want to be that kind of a guy. Fortunately, I work in a situation with a management team that supports that and doesn't dictate that I do certain things a certain way. They give me a lot of rope. Um, that doesn't mean that the rope won't get twisted around your neck and pulled. I mean, but it's up to me to decide whether or not I'm going to hang myself, not because of them. Anyway, it's just people are wetware. I used to do software. I'm learning hardware, so that's the way it is. Dreamweaver. I didn't use web development environments really, not that much. Eventually, I got into doing ASPX and .NET web development. So you used web controls and things like that were part of the library. But before that, everything I did was handwritten HTML. I never used any of the WYSIWYG tools for doing it, mostly because the ones that were available at the time I was doing this really messed your code up, your HTML up to the point where it was you had to use the environment. You couldn't write anything by hand to tweak or fix because it really messed it up. But, I'm sure the environments have gotten a lot better since I worked with them. So I'm really old school when it came to web development. I'm talking about pre-CSS stuff, Web 1.0, where you use tables to format your screens and image wedges and things like that, because you just didn't have a very good CSS layer. I also developed websites at the time when you had to have multiple versions. You had multiple versions of the document object model. You had to do both IE 3, 4, and 5 compatible sites, and that's just in Internet Explorer. Let alone Netscape or any of the others. This is before Chrome came out. So it was like the Wild West when it came to a lot of things. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. Granted, most of the stuff I did was, generic. We called it forms over data kind of development. But I really did like doing web development. I even was a bit of a ham-fisted graphic artist too, because we didn't hire graphic artists early days. You just did it yourself. Yeah. Best views under 800 by 600 Netscape. Yeah, I lived that life. So, anyway, it's a lot better and a lot worse now, depending on how you look at it. Software development has gotten so complex and easier and simpler at the surface, but you're relying on so many layers underneath to do what you need them to do. And programs today aren't as efficient as they used to be because, partially because they're written so quickly and with as little investment as possible, and you're building on the shoulders of other people that have developed libraries underneath you. But there are so many layers to things now. I cut my teeth having to do my own memory management for everything originally. I worked in C, and you talk to somebody today, and it's all garbage collection in libraries and things. They really don't either need to know or don't want to know what's going on underneath the under the covers, and frankly, they don't need to. Not if you're doing just everyday development. There's always going to be people that really do understand the internals and stuff and need to for their jobs. But the vast majority of programmers out there, they're just trying to get work done and do it as quickly as they can. And, it's a tough job. So it's really difficult to be a jack of all trades and a master of all of them when it comes to software development now. People have to specialize to be able to do it. I don't know. It's one of the reasons why at my point in my career I moved into management. I'm just not able to put in the time and effort, and I don't want to put in that much time and effort to keep up. I like my work-life balance. So, dancing baby gif. Yeah, I remember when that started up. That made the news. So, anyway. Okay, it's 10:20. I'm getting tired. Old man needs to go to bed. So, I will see you guys all later. I'm going to close it out and say goodnight, and like and subscribe if you want to. I should mention I'm very close to that magical 256, so a 2 to the 8th power number of subscribers, and I do plan on doing some kind of giveaway. I have no idea what. Open to suggestions. If there's something somebody would really like to have, and it's something that isn't going to cost me an arm and a leg, I will ship to Europe, Canada, and South America this time. So it's probably going to be something smallish. I do have another Raspberry Pi Zero kicking around here that I'm not really using. Maybe I'll give that away since they're hard to get. And I'm not really using it for anything, so that's a possibility. Mac logic board. I'd have to pull it out of a working machine. Which Mac logic board? I don't really want to sacrifice a machine to do that. And the machines that I have are just too big to ship. A personalized HyperCard stack like a greeting thank you card. Yeah, I could do something like that. I did do a Halloween stack that Joe used for his pumpkin tosh. So, yeah, maybe I could do something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, like I said, I'm a couple of people away from actually having to figure out what I'm going to do. So, it's a really kind of a low-key giveaway because I didn't want to push hard on people subscribing and all that. And it's really a giveaway for all of you, anybody that wants to do it. I'll do some kind of video and post about it, and it'll be, put this in the comments to be able to win kind of a thing, but like most of them are. But anyway, it'll be better than this Sharpie pen. Okay. It's not going to be a Sharpie. It'll be something Mac related. Yeah. All right. So thanks for coming. all of the things. If you like and subscribe, like I said, I've got a Patreon. If somebody cares to contribute to that, that's great. Um, but I'm not really. I just turn around and give that away to everybody else because I support other creators. Um, I have. Oh, I do have a coffee that I'm doing so that I can get a microscope for soldering. So if anybody were, inclined to contribute to that, please do. But again, don't worry about it if it's not something you can do and whatever. No worries. So, all right. Night, everybody. Gonna play the outro.